So today we're going to be talking about Nexus letters. What are they? How do they help your claim? And a whole lot more. So we hope that you'll join us. Hi, and welcome back to Hill and Ponton's VA Disability Blog. I am Natalia Joffrey, the company's COO.
And I'm attorney Allison Reddick.
So Allison, we're going to talk about Nexus letters. These are pretty important.
Extremely important.
Extremely important. So why don't you tell everyone, first of all, what is a Nexus letter?
So what a Nexus letter is, well, let's back up and review the basics. The three things looking for when you file a VA claim that you need are current diagnosis of a disability, whether that be an orthopedic injury, cancer, residuals of cancer, asthma, etc. Evidence of an in-service incident, whether that be an injury in service, you experienced symptoms in service, or it was some kind of toxic exposure as examples. And then the third element is a nexus, which is what we're going to talk about today, which is basically something that shows that the current disability was caused or due to the incident in service. This is where CMP exams, compensation and pension exams, come into play. A doctor, PA, physician assistant, nurse practitioner reviews the file and provides an opinion of whether there is a connection between the incident and the current condition. And so what a nexus letter is, basically it's your private opinion or your doctor's opinion stating that what your condition is related to the incident in service.
So based on what you said, there's basically three cornerstones to a claim, and the Nexus letter is going to help you establish one of those cornerstones for you to even be found disabled, right? So that you can be rated for service-connected benefits.
Yes, and it's often the hardest element to prove for the VA disability claim. That's why a lot of times a Nexus letter is needed.
Okay, so of course, we have to sometimes play devil's advocate. Do you have to have a letter, a Nexus letter? Is it actually necessary?
So it's not required for a veteran to submit a Nexus letter, but sometimes the Nexus letter is what makes a difference between an award and a denial. Basically, a veteran can just file for a claim, and if there's enough evidence, of a current condition and an incident in service, then they're scheduled for a compensation and pension exam, and that medical professional provides an opinion, and that opinion is basically a Nexus letter or opinion. So let's say that you have a negative CNP exam, or even prior to the CNP exam, you file a Nexus letter. In situations where it would be not necessary, but would be helpful, would be direct service connection, secondary service connection, aggravation, but it's not needed for presumptive conditions like Agent Orange presumptive conditions or Camp Lejeune presumptive conditions. If you have presumptive exposure and your condition is on the list of presumptive conditions, then a nexus is not necessary.
Okay. I know that you kind of mentioned it, but I want to emphasize, because I know that you will have veterans that ask, who can actually complete a Nexus letter for you? Who would qualify?
So any medical provider can technically write a Nexus letter, but the more credentials and training you have, the more weight that opinion will hold. So a board certified specialist, if you have like a knee issue, a board certified orthopedic surgeon is going to hold more weight than just a primary care physician. A primary care physician is going to hold more weight than like a chiropractor. A psychiatrist is going to hold more weight than a psychologist. And then obviously a medical doctor is going to, the opinion is going to hold more weight than a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner. But any of those medical providers can provide a Nexus opinion.
Okay, great. When can a Nexus letter be submitted, and have things changed? Because I know you and I have discussed before the changes from the legacy system to the AMA system. So, two-part question here. When can it be submitted, and has anything changed now that we went from legacy to AMA?
So a Nexus letter can be submitted at any time throughout the process, whether it's with your initial claim, during the development of your claim, or even when it's within the appeals process. It really depends on the type of claim that you're claiming, uh, when to file it.
Mhm.
Um, because let's say you have you were exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam, but you have bladder cancer.
Mhm.
So bladder cancer is not a presumptive condition, so you would need a medical nexus for that.
Mhm.
Um, if you file that with your initial claim and have a doctor state that your exposure to Agent Orange caused your bladder cancer, that may provide a positive award of service connection. However, 10, I would say 9.9 times out of 10, the VA is going to want their own medical opinion. And so that compensation and pension examiner's opinion could either refute that positive nexus opinion, or they could use it and say, oh, yeah, I agree with that doctor. Service connection is warranted. So it is really case by case basis on when to file the Nexus letter.
Yeah. Yeah. What if the CMP examiner disagrees with the Nexus letter? I know we.
So that's why I say it depends on when to file it, because if you go back to the bladder cancer, your doctor writes the Nexus opinion, and then the CMP examiner refutes it. Well, then that doctor is going to have to go back and refute that opinion, rather than if you would have waited, then the doctor could have just written one opinion.
Mhm.
So Nexus letters are very helpful when you do have negative compensation and pension examinations,
Mhm.
where the examiner concludes that there's no connection between the veteran's condition and their military service. The doctor that you use to provide your private nexus opinion can utilize that opinion and point out flaws in it, as well as cite to additional medical research which shows that they should be service connected.
Okay, great. What would you recommend, in terms of making the Nexus letter the most effective? I know that sometimes people think more is better, but what would you recommend?
So I would recommend getting the most qualified person, or obviously a doctor is going to be the most qualified, but a board certified doctor in that area of health, whether it be oncology for cancer, orthopedics um, for orthopedic issues like knee injuries, things like that. That's going to be, like we said before, hold more weight than a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant. But whomever you can get, if they're board certified, whether it's a board certified internist or specialist, definitely make sure they're board certified. Make sure the doctor has reviewed your VA claims file.
Mhm.
The CNP examiners always review, or they say that they always review the claims file. So it's important for the doctor to have access to your claims file and review it. And you can do a Freedom of Information Act request, a FOIA request, to get your
Mhm.
claims file.
Mhm.
Um, and then the standard that is used for service connection is at least as likely as not. It's a lower standard. It just basically means that there's a 50% chance that the disability was due to service. So utilizing that language is extremely important, or saying that it's medically certain. That's an even higher standard. That would be higher than at least as likely as not.
Mhm.
Stating that would show that there's enough evidence that the condition was related to service. So making it brief but still complete is
Mhm.
important.
Just enough, just
Yes.
enough to make the point across, get the point across. Does our firm have connections with different doctors with different medical backgrounds? I know that sometimes veterans feel like, well, obviously the majority of them have all, if not, or most, if not all, of their treatment with the VA, and they don't feel like, well, my VA doctor is definitely not going to write a Nexus letter for me or even make a statement for that matter. So they're sometimes limited or worried that they don't have the recourse or the resources to actually get a Nexus letter done. So is that something that you can help with if
Yeah,
you're having?
I would say that even though there are a lot of VA doctors that won't write Nexus opinions, you should definitely ask, because some will. And if that's your treating physician, then that comes with a lot of probative weight, because this doctor has been treating you for X amount of time and knows the specifics of your case. However, in a lot of situations, the doctor, VA doctor or private doctor, won't. And that's where being with a firm that does VA law, we have a lot of connections and know a lot of doctors throughout the United States in different specialties. I would say all of them are board certified, and whether it be orthopedic doctor or oncologist or internist, for whatever condition, we most likely have worked with a doctor who has experience in that area and can provide a sufficient um, Nexus opinion.
Okay, great. Any other thoughts on Nexus letters? Any final recommendations?
If you do get your doctor to write one, I see a lot that are like 3 sentences. That'll say, I treat this person, they have this condition, and it's due to their service. You definitely need a little bit more than that, and it requires open communication with your doctor to state specifically what you need. I need you to review my VA claims file. I can provide that to you. I need you to state what in service you think caused my current condition, and why it caused it, whether it be an exposure or an injury or such, and use that language at least as likely as not. So the veteran's condition was at least as likely as not caused by blank in service.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you, Allison. Appreciate it. And thank you for joining us. We hope you'll do so again. But if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to visit our website or call our office. Thank you.